Sactown Sports.
Drive guys, Zimmer Pilati, the Phantom today, and look who has joined us. Wow, it's really a party now.
Well, yeah, because he gets first billing.
Well, I just have to mention
terrible.
first, saving the best for last.
Yes.
Kings icon, Jerry Reynolds in studio today. Thank you, Coach, for coming in.
It's great, just listen to you guys coming in, and of course, glad to know Emma knows when 3:00 is.
Dinner time for you.
You'll find Jerry, he does not
Did I interrupt?
time.
You drove in here from dinner. Or
No, that would have been normally about 4:30, Smarty. So you're going to make fun of senior citizens and just get it over with.
It's Senior Citizen Day. Pete Carroll, me and Jerry.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
What did you make of what Ian Begley had to tell us about the possibility of Cam Johnson coming to the Kings? The Kings could sure use him. I know we've talked about that. Looks like the Nets are, we don't need to trade him, but there's so much posturing going on. What do you think of the chances of something happening, Jerry?
Doesn't sound very good to me because, all they want's picks, and certainly they don't want salaries.
Yeah.
So
Not a
there's
good
that,
fit,
and then his salary's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
So that's an issue as well. I mean, I really like him. I think he's a really good player. But I guess my other question would be, why wouldn't they keep him? He's young.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like good grief. What are you on a 15-year program or something?
Yeah, you got a 28-year-old who shoots 40-something% from three, and he can defend.
He really shouldn't even be in his prime. So you'd assume he's probably got 5-6 of his best years ahead. And I don't know, the general manager or majority of the coach, just what their timeline might be.
That's right. Yeah. Isn't that one reason why GMs are so willing to trade like picks 6 years down the road? Because I won't be here. What do I care?
Oh, yeah, exactly.
Hey, wait till Pete Carroll gets all of that. He's trading stuff 2 years
Well,
down
I've
the road.
always said in the NBA, if you've got a 5-year plan, you have no plan. Because it better happen sooner than that.
So if Cam Johnson is going to be that difficult to attain, then I guess we circle back to the guy we've been talking about a lot with you, John Collins, who's actually younger than Cam, which I didn't realize. Kyle Draper pointed that out to me. I was like, no, he did. Oh, he is. Okay.
As you recall, I pointed out to Draper.
Oh, did you? Okay.
Nicely played, Jerry.
All
Yes.
right.
Yeah,
absolutely.
He's an Eagle fan. What are you going to do? He's just coming into his own. I think. I think he'd be the best fit, really, because he's an athlete, fairly long, and can shoot threes and has proven to be able to play center at times. Very effectively.
Yeah. What do you think, Mr. Basketball?
It seems that he was available for so long that it kind of devalued his value as a player. You kind of lost sight over who he was as a player because he's always been on the trade block. We talked about it earlier. It seems like he's been on the trade block for like 6 years now. No one's ever made the move for him. So, yeah, I mean, if Johnson's not available, he would be the logical next move right there.
You a John Collins guy, Emmerich?
I'm for him in the sense of what he could bring to the table. When Utah played against us, and I do know that he plays for Utah, unlike Jonas Valanciunas, who I thought played for Memphis until he moved to the Wizards.
He used to.
Yeah. I was really impressed with his 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
Which I thought was really interesting to have a guy like that was really a jumper and a high flyer have such 3-point shooting prowess. I mean, he's not leading the league like Domas, which is wild, but adding another guy that could shoot. I've been watching Keegan now for the last month, slightly be off with his 3-point shot. It's maybe coming back a little bit.
Back around,
yeah, but you could just see from the bottom of the screen when you're watching on TV, it's slightly off to the right, and I would just love to have another 3-point shooter.
You got to turn your head.
Yeah, if you could just go. I'm moving the TV. I think that's what it is.
You want to get off the couch or something and sit up a little bit.
An interesting tidbit, I think, would be to me not to have Mr. Basketball over here. He'd probably gloss over him, but actually, John Collins' numbers are better in every category than Lauri Markkanen.
Really?
He's
at a fraction of the cost.
His
finisher?
His 2-point percentage, his 3-point percentage, rebounds per minute, clearly better. His scoring, he scores 1.5 points less, but he's playing less minutes. So even that's probably better. And he's clearly a better defender.
Yeah. But he's not. That's been a knock against him.
Yeah.
Not a great defender, or
Well, I think it was, in my opinion. And what happened was he came to the league as a center, and then when they got Clint Capella, he had to change his his position, and I think he struggled at that for a while. And I think the struggle's over. I think he's made the adjustment because he really wasn't a consistent outside shooter coming out of Wake Forest because he'd always been a center.
I want to ask you about John Collins because I remember this when the three of us used to do the old-fashioned three.
Old-fashioned three.
And I think we were done doing one. We were just talking about John Collins, who I think might have still been on the Hawks at the time. And I think Phantom was asking, well, how come he never gets traded? And I said, I don't think the Hawks like him. And you would know, and you said, I don't think that's it at all. So they were trying to trade him, but it wasn't because they didn't like him, right?
No, I think what happened, and I'm pretty sure actually what happened was they'd signed a contract, and of course they got Capella, so that changed his role, and then they drafted DeAndre Hunter.
Yeah,
about that time, lottery pick, and so they kind of saw that as a conflict. In other words, it's kind of like the trading Herder instead of Bogdanovich. It's
right.
You just had too many of a good thing.
Redundancy.
Yes.
Yeah. Emron has the trade all worked out for us.
Yeah. So I was playing around on the trade machine online, and John Collins' salary is a little over $26 million. The two salaries that match this would probably need some draft capital behind it, but Herder and Lyles match the salary requirements for that trade. So they're, you probably have to add a second rounder, a first rounder, or whatever it be.
That's the whole thing right there.
Yeah, but if you think about it, if the Kings stay consistent in where they're at, they're going to be in the 20s anyways. And where often do you see a player in the 20s be impactful in a general rotation? Not very often.
No, but there are second rounders sometimes that end up being good players. We'll see what Jerry would do. The guy who actually has done this. He's been paid to actually do this. We all talk about it. He's done it. How much would he give up for John Collins? We got that when we come right back. Drive Guys, Sactown Sports. Aaron Pilati says what?
I'm leaving after this one. I've got to go to Marie Callender's.
Okay. Yeah, you got to stick around because you just had a great question for Jerry. I hope you stick around. Aaron Pilati. Mr. Basketball, the Phantom, and what do you think, Jerry Reynolds with us, of his Phantom's Anaheim Amigos t-shirt?
I was very impressed, because I'm probably the only other person in the Sacramento area that remembered the Anaheim Amigos.
There you go. Yeah.
And
I knew you'd appreciate it.
Yeah. The old ABA days.
Dan Issa was amazed at somebody wearing an Anaheim Amigos shirt.
Yeah, well, he should have been. Yeah, he used to kick their butts, when he was with the Kentucky Colonels.
Yes. Yeah. We were just asking Jerry how much he would be willing to give up draft-wise, compensation-wise for John Collins. Before you answer, I know you had a great question.
Yeah, my question asked during the break was, Jerry, what was the best trade that you were involved in the Kings history?
It was Billy Owens for Mitch Richmond.
I remember that draft as a little boy. I was, what year was Billy Owens drafted?
Here's another age flex.
93?
Mr. Age flex.
91?
Yeah, maybe 92. I'm not even sure.
It was the same draft as, I'm trying to think. No, that was the Lionel Simmons draft with Derek Coleman.
Derek Coleman was first.
Was it that year?
Yeah.
Billy Owens was that year?
Billy Owens was third. Kenny Anderson.
That's what it was. I wanted Kenny Anderson, the lefty.
Kenny Anderson was second.
And I remember when he got picked up, I was like, oh, no.
Yeah, I thought Kenny was going to be, and he was good, but, as it turned out.
We're off by a year. Derek Coleman's year was Lionel Simmons' year.
Lionel Simmons' year, that's right.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm trying to think who the number one pick was that year.
Well, Shaquille O'Neal.
Oh, I never heard of him.
Yeah.
Was Billy Owens the Shaquille O'Neal year? Wow.
No. Lionel's year was Shaquille.
1991 NBA draft.
Yeah, check it out.
Larry Johnson, number one.
Yeah.
Kenny Anderson, Billy Owens. Not today. Dikembe,
Mutombo,
Steve Smith, Doug Smith, Luke Longley, Mark Macon, Stacey Ogman, and Brian Williams. That was Bison Dele, right?
Yeah, Brian Williams.
Yeah.
It's a running joke, Jerry, that I Mitch Richmond hurt my soul when I was a little boy. When I came up to him and tried to get an autograph, and he's like, "Not now, kid." So I'm scarred by that. But how hard was that trade to make happen? This guy that's been with the Kings for, I believe it was 1 year before you traded him.
No, we'd just drafted him.
He never played for. He played for the Kings.
No, he never played for the Kings.
Billy Owens.
We drafted him.
He came back later. He played.
That's what I meant.
Right?
Yeah.
They came back. We traded Walt Williams later. For Billy Owens later, and Billy came back and helped us.
So a 1-for-1 trade. You got Billy Owens for Mitch Richmond. Mitch was already established All-Star. How'd you pull that off?
Well, it's one of those things that's kind of strange because Don Nelson had, wanted the rights to Billy Owens, and we'd talked. That's why I drafted him because you
already knew.
Yeah, and so, but then he got some cold feet. But then again, went kind of readdressed it as soon as. You get him signed, and then we'll do it. Nelly always, bless his heart, he had Jerky around a little bit.
Yeah,
he was Nelly. Yeah,
yeah. He just couldn't feel good about himself. so anyway, but that was the deal. And I said, but of course, he didn't want to trade Mitch. And I said, no, that's who
we already said this is going to happen. You got to finish through.
Yeah, that's just the guy, and and. It's one of those things to where surprisingly, like in the Bay Area, a lot of the writers say, "Oh, that's a great trade for the Warriors and all that," and it's like I didn't see any risk. Mitch had been Rookie of the year before, and then he was averaging 23 or 4 a game his second year.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd coached against him one game, and he, we held him to 44. I think it was.
That's coaching. Yeah,
yeah, he just kicked Danny Ainge's butt. Just. Terrible. And so, yeah, I didn't see any risk there. And like I say, it was one of those things that was unpopular. It was very popular in Sacramento, very unpopular in the Bay because everybody just assumed we didn't know what we're doing.
People still assume that about the Kings sometimes, don't they?
Well, they'd be right a lot. They weren't on that particular occasion.
And if you don't mind, Whitey, the second question that I asked was what bad trade or one that you regret, but you said that the trade wasn't really the aspect. It was the drafting that you maybe would have done something different.
Yeah, definitely. I made one year we had 4 first-round picks and really considering the kind of career some of the late guys had, it turned out okay, except for Travis Mays was the 14th pick.
4 first rounders that year.
4 first round. He was the 14th pick. And, we thought he was going to be an awfully good player, like a lot of people did.
He's out of Texas, right?
Out of Texas. People said the next Joe Dumars. Well,
so it's Coswell, Anthony Bonner, and L. Train.
Coswell was 18th, and Bonner was 23rd,
mm-hmm.
and both of them, played for a long time.
Yeah.
Pretty good career.
And Travis Mays was Did you try to change him position?
Well, he was small. See, coming out of college, he was a small 6'2" guard.
Yeah,
and then so he needed to be a playmaker. We found out pretty short.
He's not a playmaker.
He really wasn't a very good playmaker, or really wasn't that good a scorer either. So, but
he's not good at defense and not an offense. So,
but it was I was pretty lucky. We were able to turn him into Spud Webb, who really had some really good years for us.
That's great.
Very good player, and Travis was traded to Atlanta, and I think he was out of the league in about another year.
Yeah. I know I wanted to ask you about how much you'd give up for John Collins, but on this topic of things that you've done, I think I know the answer to this, but what's the best trade that you wanted to make that for whatever reason you were not allowed to make?
Was for Jeff Hornacek when he was in Philly.
Okay. I thought it would have been Detlef Schrempf.
Well, actually, now that you mention it, that would have even been better. I mean, but there were those two just were heartbreakers for me.
Because you had them all set? Yeah.
I thought they were all ready to go.
Yeah.
And then found out that they weren't. And so,
is the finances or just the ownership just didn't have the appetite for it?
Well, I think there was, especially with Detlef, it was a case of the ownership knew that he's going to be coming up for a contract within a year. And I always remember discussing with the owner at that time and the president of the team, and we were talking about it. And he said, "Well, he's going to win a lot of money." I said, "Yeah, he's good. That's what happens. He's good. We can get not good guys cheaper."
And yet, your argument did not carry the day.
No,
he did not. No.
Was he a Sonic or was he a Portland Trailblazer?
He was a Sonic at that time, and end up. Let's see. I'm trying to think.
Because he started with the Mavs.
No, you know what? He was
Pacers?
He was with the Pacers.
Mm.
He was with the Pacers, and the reason I knew we could get him is because Larry Brown, Larry has to change rosters every 6 months.
You can't stay with him, same players. Then he doesn't show how good of a coach he is.
So so he ended up trading him to the Sonics for Derek McKee, who was a very good player.
I always liked Derek McKee.
So it wasn't a bad, I think better, but
Yeah.
It still worked out okay.
Derek McKee, who was traded for Pippen,
and,
if I'm not mistaken. Derek McKee was,
was he?
Yeah, it was the Pippen trade before Pippen ever played for the Sonics.
Yeah. How about, Jerry, if you were even consultant with the Kings, it's like, we're talking with Utah about John Collins. How much draft capital would you be willing to give up for John Collins?
Well, I'd give up, if in fact they wanted the salary matching, which my guess is they wouldn't, to be honest. And because actually Trey Lyles was a lottery pick for them years ago. That's where he started.
Oh, yes, right.
So, but as I recall.
And both those contracts match. So Collins has 2 years and the other two guys that I mentioned have 2 years as well.
My understanding is, and I'm no capologist, the Kings would have to trade both those guys for Collins to stay under the luxury tax.
Yes.
Which they have shown an appetite for doing in the recent past.
So I that's what I say.
Yeah.
But if in fact Danny Ainge would do that, and the only way he would if he could move them on as part of another deal, which maybe he could. Yeah. So if you want to be hypothetical, and it clearly is, I'd give up a protected first in 3 or 4 years down the road. for exactly the same thing we're talking about. It's like, hey, this team, it's got a window, but it probably isn't any more than a 4-year window. And so
DeMar is 34. If he's going to be a key piece, you got to look at that age and say,
well, I don't know that you can say that, but certainly with Fox, Monk, Sabonis, Keegan Murray, Keon
mid to
Ellis,
late 20s.
I mean, your core is young, and to where you could say, if we can add a few pieces, well, obviously with DeRozan, you'd figure in a couple of years you might have to.
Phantom, what were you doing when you were 34?
Oh, boy, that was a long time ago. Man, I don't know. Wow. I think I ran a card shop or something. Jerry, I know your favorite team to the south. I just heard yesterday that Mr. Davis says he needs to find a center. He needs to they need another center. He doesn't want to be center anymore. Do you think that they might look at this John Collins? As you said, he played well as a center with the Hawks. Maybe he would be on their radar as well?
I think they're looking for a different kind of center. I think they're looking more for Walker Kessler.
Okay.
The 7-foot shot blocker who doesn't score and doesn't need to score, which is exactly what Davis would want to play with.
Yeah.
And
don't shoot it. Give me the ball.
Give me the ball. You block that
ball and
guy.
give it to me.
You guard the center.
You guard him.
Protect the basket and stay out of the way.
Get the rebound, throw it to me. Yeah.
And get a putback down. He's kind of a different version of Rudy Gobert type thing. I don't know if he's as good or worse. I don't know. But anyway, I don't know that John would fit them per se. But on the Davis thing, it's like he said, that's when I played my best. I'm not sure that's true. I'm pretty sure he doesn't want to do it.
Yeah.
I mean, he just really doesn't want to
go stand next to the basket.
Yeah, because he pointed out, when we won the championship, we had JaVale McGee and we had Dwight Howard, right? So,
yeah. It's like, okay.
Those two are the keys.
Well,
two game breakers.
Yeah. You can get those fellas back if you need them.
I don't think they're doing anything right now. You can do it right now.
Yeah. The Lakers are kind of playing, I hate to say it, but they're not playing badly right now.
They're a pretty good team.
Yeah.
Hachimura's a player, but, Reeves, the guy's a baller. Getting rid of D'Angelo Russell was a plus.
Yep. Funny how that happens.
I'm not sure that Dorian Finney-Smith, it's like for a while, all of a sudden, I get Dorian Finney-Smith. But I was thinking, really? That
kind of looks lost. Yeah.
I mean, he's a player, but he's not a needle mover. I mean, if you have to play him 35 minutes a night and counting on him for anything big money or numbers wise, you're going to be sorely disappointed.
What do you think is a potential fit for the Kings? Jonas Valanciunas. There's a lot of fans that just really love the idea. I know there's been talk of the Kings bringing in a wing and a center. See, I'm guessing some of that might be because the Kings figured to get the wing, they might have to give up Lyles, in which case they need a center. So maybe one's dependent on the other. I don't know. Well, what kind of centers that we think are available, putting John Collins aside for a minute, do you think might fit here? Would Valanciunas be a fit for the Kings?
I think he could be. I don't know that he'd be ideal. I mean, I think he and Sabonis could play together some. People say, well, Valanciunas can shoot the ball out on the floor. Mm-hmm. He's a decent 3-point shooter, and certainly he can guard. He'd have to guard the post, which is really and he's a pretty good rim protector, better than Domas. Now he can't cover out on the floor like Domas, but then the other part of it is Domas was 2-time All-Star in Indiana playing power forward. With Miles Turner, who was, basically so it would take some creativity on Coach Christie's part, but to make it work. But I think he's up to the challenge. I would say, that probably Valanciunas would be better probably off the bench playing behind Domas and then some with Domas, but you'd have and he's a tough buckaroo, he'll sting somebody now and then. And,
that's why I thought Kings fans wanted him.
And then Kings are short of stingers,
We need to sting somebody.
How about Robert Williams, Time Lord?
Well, I mean, does he play basketball?
When he does, though.
Bench Lord.
When he does, though. When he does, though, Jerry.
When he does, he can't be a when he does kind of guy, Jerry. You know that. Come on.
Yeah, no, I mean, Zion's really good when he plays.
I didn't beat
Brandon Ingram is really good when he plays.
Yeah,
I mean, there's a lot of guys who are good when they play. I would think, I've always said, it's interesting when you put those guys on paper, but they don't play. It doesn't help you.
I guess that's right.
But
you would know.
I guess he would
done
know.
it for a living. Yeah.
Well, the Kings are really lucky there. They're they got guys that want to trot out there and play. Amazing.
Jerry Reynolds, of course, the Phantom. Emerson Pilati, are you out of here?
I'm out of here.
All right. So is your show on tomorrow?
It is.
Yeah.
You're on it.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right.
Just to let you know.
Good to know. Yeah.
You'll be there. And then I'll be in Fairfield for the card show. Just as a side note, I asked if you were going to go, and you go, you know what? My uncle was the mayor of Fairfield.
It's true. Yes.
True.
It's true?
Yeah.
And so I said, well, does that mean you're going? He goes, I can't go there. People are going to be bugging me and stopping me and trying to take pictures. So we'll miss you.
Okay. Thanks.
We'll miss you.
Thanks. Yes.
Thanks for letting me hang out with you guys.
A lot of pictures. Autographs, things.
Yes.
Mayor's nephew. Oh, yeah. Okay, that's me, guys. All right.
You signed my Mayor's nephew T-shirt.
Oh, no. Again?
Yeah. We're going to ask Jerry about, that commercial with 40 years ago, the G-Man narrates, and they show the Kings walking into the arena. Have you the commercial? And they show Eddie, and I think it's LaSalle Thompson. The looks on their faces. I see that and I go, what were those guys thinking? So I want to ask Jerry what he and the other players, what they were thinking when they first came to Sacramento, what they thought of this place 40 years ago. We got that coming up here with the Drive Guys on Sactown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Can he do it?